Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lloyd 212, and I'm with David Aston. What's up, David?
Woohoo! Let's rock and roll.
Well, I got a surprise for you.
Wonderful news for all you lovely, wonderful Marvel fans. Excelsior!
We have bacon that you said to get at the deli.
Delicious, delicious. It needs a little bit more salt, though.
Okay, so...
Brilliant.
There you go. How you doing today?
Oh, I've been fine. I'm absolutely pumped from early and ready to talk about Marvel and many delicious things that you have in store for me.
Well, we have the box office for Friday.
Box
now,
office.
The surprise is that the Ant-Man and the Wasp is no longer number one. They're number 3.
Oh, blimey.
For number 3, right now, the Ant-Man and the Wasp have in almost 200 million, about 198 million worldwide. But the big, well, not that it's a big surprise, but Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation is number 1, and has 22 million in already for just one day and then 1 day of previews. Skyscraper is number 2 with The Rock. That has 9,268,000. So he's number 2.
Is Skyscraper actually good then?
I didn't see it, but it looks like it's a cross, like he said, between Die Hard and Towering Inferno.
Oh yeah, Towering Inferno Reviews is a
classic,
an early 1970s film during the 70s with the craze for disaster movies. It had the guy who would later go on from being in Bonanza to being in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Long Green.
So there, we got Incredibles 2 is at 792 million, which interesting. We have Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. That has in 1,079 million. Wow, that's a lot of money.
How much?
1,079 million.
And which film is that for?
Jurassic World 2: Fallen Kingdom.
And
The dinosaur movie.
That's just started.
That started a couple weeks ago.
Are you seriously telling me in the opening weekend or whatever it was, they made 1 bloody billion?
No, it didn't make it in a billion because it was released overseas with you guys first, and it did phenomenal. And then when it came over here,
it's not going to go extinct anytime soon.
That's for sure. There's going to be another one already, third one. So
I did a dinosaur pun.
We have The Purge, the first Purge, which is technically the 4th one. 55 million has in. Only a $13 million budget, so it's a success already.
What's The Purge about, Red?
No, it's just that there was this fictional story that in the future, America decides to do an annual purge where for for so many hours, like 12 hours, murder is legal. And they just...
Oh, yes, of course.
Right.
Ethan Hawke.
So, Ethan Hawke,
I want to murder Ethan Hawke based on his acting.
Right. So that was very successful. So now we're at the 4th movie, which is
illegal. Yeah. Basically, the idea for 24 hours, all laws, all illegal things are basically made
within reason. Like in other words, they don't allow machine guns, and they don't allow certain type of weaponry they don't allow. But people break that rule anyway.
So it's nothing to be confused with the Jedi purge of Order 66.
Right. Yeah, basically.
Execute Order 66.
So we have Ocean's 8 is the 10th place movie with the females. You know, they have in...
Ocean what?
Ocean's 8.
Of course, the remake of Ocean 11 or 12 or...
Right, which the figure 8, the female...
12.5.
Yeah.
I loved Ocean 7 and a half
11?
and 3/4.
Ocean's 11, right? Yeah.
Yeah. How has that been received in the big of USA then?
244 million worldwide, so it's doing well. It's doing
That's
very
a lot
well.
of tampons.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's true. It's damn true. All right, we have
But seriously, before you go on to the rest, Joe, how's it been received by critics compared to the the originals, which are actually
I'm not really sure. I know that people like it, so right away you think, okay, they're gonna have a female version of a male movie or whatever, and oh my God, why are they doing this? Why are they flooding the market? But I guess it's not like it's billions of dollars. Or it's not like it's 500 million. I mean, it's accepted. It's doing okay. It'll probably get a sequel.
Yes, there's interesting enough. They've got a film called Widows, which, while not being the same as Ocean's 8, does have a sort of same theme as far as whole female cast goes.
Could be. I don't know about Widows. I didn't see what that is, but is that over in the UK?
I'm not sure. I think they're Widows though.
Okay. So we have there was a few other movies that is leaving the top 10.
Oh, yes.
We have Deadpool 2, which Deadpool 2 has in, let's see, 726 million.
Holy smokes.
That's a lot. So that's going to be, that's just about done soon.
That's a lot of ashtrays.
Yeah. Avengers, Infinity War is 2 billion and 40 million.
2 billion?
Yeah.
Jeez. That's a lot of baguettes.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, that hopefully is a success. Because again, for some reason they are hiding the box office number, the production budget, which I don't like when they do that. It's like they got something to hide. So I don't like when they hide it, because then we can't tell if it's a success or not.
Well, the whole point about movies is that they have the expenditure, which, by the way, includes the actors' fee, the publicisation. Is there a word such a thing as publicise? Well, actors' fees, publicising the movie, etc., etc., and that's a shitload of money to make back. And actually, it's the same when you're doing an album for the first time. You have to, if you're a young new artist, you have to pay back on the production costs.
Yeah. So.
Oh, blimey.
We got some news about. You see what Venom looks like for the Venom movie?
Let's talk about Stan Lee, because there was a video message by Stan Lee to his fans, and
he's getting old. That's and he's
being abused.
Well, we're trying to figure out what exactly is happening, because he was saying he wasn't, but then he was.
It's fucking simple, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Jay, but I have to say this, okay?
Okay.
My mum's suffering dementia. She's elderly, okay? Basically, in a nutshell, she was with her daughter or something like that, and she was being abused. Which is why he, Stan Lee basically moved in with, who's that bloke? The one from Silent Bob and Jay, or
he didn't move in with Kevin Smith. He didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Kevin Smith offered to let him move.
He offered, but he didn't move in with him. No.
And the reason why is because there was some very disturbing reports that Stan Lee was being abused and mistreated, basically suffering from elderly beliefs.
You got to understand, he's in his 90s. So, things are going to happen, and I'm not sure exactly, because at first we thought his daughter wasn't doing elder abuse. Then he came out and said he was going to sue anybody that said that. Now it turns out it's up in the air. Like he had a lawsuit going on. It
was to do with the fact that there's a big amount of money to get from him, and that's all the point of it. It's like anybody who's alive or deceased. I mean, elderly. Let's be honest here. If you're elderly, you're suddenly seen as subhuman or not important.
Right.
Well, fuck that. I'm not going to get to the age of 70 and be treated by my 50 children and grandchildren as a piece of shit. I will be banging many hot chicks, even in my late 70s, but I'm certainly not going to be a victim of abuse, and that's the attitude of society. Oh, well, you're over a certain age, so fuck you, you're not important anymore.
Right.
Well, you are important.
The message Stan Lee said was he's there.
The message is that society doesn't give a toss. Well, I care, you care, and we all should care, because that could be us.
Yes. One day we will be that old. 95 years old he is, Hopefully, God willing.
God willing.
But hopefully by that time.
A hot chick from Hooters in my Zimmer phone.
Oh my God. But he's saying that he's going to be communicating with the fans more often because people are confused what's happening in his life. So maybe that's a good thing. More communication.
It's a welcoming sign, though, isn't it? He's basically telling the fans that everything's fine and that he looks in good health. He looks mentally and physically in good health, but we can only really take it from a pinch of salt because we've only got a video, but hopefully, God willing, Stan Lee will still be, flying the universe of this world for a long time.
Excelsior, yeah. I wish him, he's 95, so we just lost Steve Ditko, so that was rough. So what else we got? Yeah, so we saw the doctor, David Tennant, was with the Muppets, and also Peter Davison and Kylie Minogue. We have the Venom picture. Did you see the Venom picture?
No, but I've seen the trailer and I've seen some sort of clips.
This is the latest. This is the latest picture of Venom that they have.
But they changed, didn't they?
He looks good, right?
Originally, he's supposed to be a symbiote or something, symbiote or whatever.
Symbiote, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's still a symbiote. Just the graphics. We saw like a teaser. We saw a trailer. Hopefully,
the great thing is, Venom has gone from being a grouchy alien creature to Tom Hardy.
Did you ever see Zombieland movie?
Yes, I did.
That's getting a sequel. Yes, they're all back. Woody Harrelson is back. Emma Stone is back.
Will Bill Murray be back?
Jesse Eisenberg, Abigail Breslin, they're all back.
Wow.
Bill Murray, he became a zombie at the end of that.
Is there any sort of plots for, what's going to happen in these sequels?
A super zombie. There's going to be a zombie that is more intelligent, that runs, and they have to deal with that.
Henry Carver.
So there is, speaking of Bill Murray is doing his own zombie movie. It's supposed to be a comedy that is going to star Kylo Ren there, Adam Driver. And Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez, oh baby.
And so there's a whole bunch of actors that are lined up. Hey, Scott, what's up?
Oh my God, my favorite Scott.
Hello.
So there's Bill Murray as a cop. And he's a cop, and then there's Adam Driver, which we know is Kylo Ren, and then there's going to be Chloe Sevigny, I hope I got her name, Austin Butler, Steve Buscemi, Tilda Swinton. So it's called The Dead Don't Die. It's called
The Dead. Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Selena Gomez, Ding Dong. Chloe Singer, Rosie Perez,
yes.
Austin Butler, Stephen Buscemi, and Tilda Swinton are set to star in The Dead Don't Die, a new zombie comedy from renowned indie filmmaker Jim Patterson, Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai, which has been set up at Focus Features and Universal Pictures International. I say it's so posh, don't I?
Yeah.
Anyways, Jump
That's a professional.
Jim Shot has officially announced the project, but filming is already underway in upstate New York, where the first set photos of Mary and action popping away at the Daily Mail.
What kind of accent is that? What are you doing?
That's supposed to be American, but it's crap.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Hi, would you like your how do you like your eggs?
He told me he wanted me to buy bacon for him and send it to him. I went and bought bacon for myself.
But I can't eat it. I need bacon. The only thing I've got in the fridge right now is a big fucking 16 rush of bacon, but it's in the bloody freezer. So it literally, I'm not joking here. It's as hard as my bloody mobile phone.
Wow.
But
I thought you were going to say something else.
I should play ice hockey.
How are you, Scott?
I'm doing good.
So why don't you talk about some news while I eat my bacon?
You can take over for a bit.
I put him on the spot. No, I don't mean to put him on the spot. I'm just kidding.
That's all right.
What do you think about the doctor with the Muppets? You saw that?
That was funny, I have to say. That was good.
I wonder if Peter Davison was dressed up too. He was there.
Yep.
Joe, if you keep eating that fucking bacon, it's going to drive me at the wall. Don't do it. Don't taunt me like this.
You want potatoes?
Ah,
I got potatoes, sir.
You evil bastard.
Listen, it's morning. We don't do this stuff in the morning usually.
But I can't eat it, you fucker.
I'm sorry. I am a fucker sometimes. At least that's what I hear from my enemies. No! You fucker! All right.
You fucking arsehole!
I'm the object of many off-air podcasts. I'm told. Very popular. That's why my ears are ringing all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
I bet your pecker is as hard as the Brooklyn Bridge, though.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. Okay. I don't know, but anyway.
Moving along.
Boy, you really. I gotta tell you, you come up with the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Out of the blue, just like we'd be talking about something, and it's like, wow. Same thing with Susie. Her talking about eating Smurfs and gutting them was like a horror movie, and I'm like, wow. All right. Anyway, so Amazing Spider-Man #1 was excellent, by the way.
Oh yes, of course. That's the Amazing Spider-Man 1. That's fucking awesome. As Jay
and they also have a free. They gave away free a behind-the-scenes edition.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Showing the artwork and previewing Spider-Geddon is nigh.
A minute, they had the whole thing where they're wiping out all the different Spideys from different.
Well, the thing is, this was a storyline by Dan Slott, and Dan Slott was doing the sequel to Spider-Verse.
Man, this is what I really want to hear.
But what happened was, Marvel got a little bit where they're like, "Oh, let's do a Venomverse," which nobody really gives a shit about.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make cha-ching.
The money.
So he had
They want the money. They want.
So he had to push off his story for the secondary. I mean, here's the thing: Venom is always the secondary character. I mean, it was created as a villain. Yeah. All right, he's got a series, but everybody would rather see a Spider-Man stuff than a Venom thing. But whatever. So Marvel got stupid, I feel, and they rejected Spider-Verse 2, which is really stupid, by the way, and they put ahead Venomverse, which wasn't really received, I don't think, that well. So now, because he was leaving, he could never do that story. So when people were going to take over, there was another writer that did some stuff with him, and he said, look, here is my story for the Spider-Verse 2. You know, they called it Spider-Geddon. He's like, you have my wishes to take this on and write it the way you want to write it. So basically, it's Dan Slott's idea.
Oh, that's right. You said the other writer had been writing it for over 10 years, and the new writer is basically...
Well, the new writer wasn't a part of it. The new writer did Hydra Cap. That whole
Fucking
thing.
hell, I'm actually enjoying this. I really love this.
Yeah, the writer of Spider-Geddon is a guy that worked on a few different books throughout the years of Spider-Man. His name is Christos Gage. Christos Gage. So he had done Superior Spider-Man 6A, which was an Ultron tie-in, and he did some other Spider-Man books. But he's not the Amazing Spider-Man writer now. Nick Spencer is writing. So you know what's happening?
Oh, I see.
They put the storyline out as an extra while Amazing Spider-Man's still going on. It's not part of Amazing Spider-Man, but Nick Spencer is doing a bigger storyline for Spider-Man next year. He's building it up.
Amazing Spider-Man is like the main traditional.
That's the main Spider-Man book, yes.
Yeah,
So this is an offshoot that you got to buy every month, Spider-Geddon. So it's a separate thing that you got to buy.
Basically, your suggestion would be to stick to just that, I suppose, as a Spidey fan.
I would have rather it been in. Well, here's the thing: we know that Nick Spencer took over the book, so it can't possibly. You don't. When somebody takes over a book, you don't do a crossover right away. They got to get their feet wet. They got to build up story arcs and different plots and different things throughout the whole year, 2 or 3. So the first year, you never do a storyline with the writer for a big thing, ever. So what they wanted was they had like a stockholder meeting. They're like, let's get a big crossover about. So he wasn't going to, he's not going to do it. They give it to this guy.
I love hearing Matrix Lord Joe talk. I love hearing, sorry for interrupting, sorry for blocking you out, Scott, but I loved hearing people, especially Joe, talking about his comic book knowledge, because it just gets you excited. But go ahead. I'm going.
You know what it is nowadays? Everything is stockholders meetings and stocks and business. Disney owns Marvel. They have these big board rooms with the stock. What are we going to do to boost sales? So it's more of a business than it's anything else. So now a lot of times we get unnecessary storylines that nobody gives a crap about because he's muted. You're muted. You're muted. Okay. We get a lot of storylines that people don't think are necessary, but they just want to make money. Yes. And the problem they don't understand is that people have a budget. Even these kids, they get allowances. Now, when you go to the store and you want to go buy Amazing Spider-Man, all of a sudden you see, boom, Civil War 2, which is like $6.
Yes.
Now, would you get your regular comic, or would you get that big Civil War 2 with all the characters on? So a lot of books, they killed their own books because people only have a budget, and then they do the multiple covers.
Fucking perfect.
Kill you.
The best way I've ever heard it described. I go to a fucking newsagents, and I'm, 40 going on 20.
Yeah.
I had a haircut, by the way, Scott.
Probably.
So
Nice.
my sexual good looks have been improved on both sides. But the thing is, if you get, it doesn't matter how old you are, 40 or fucking 20 or 10, especially in the good old golden age of comics.
Yes.
If you go to a comic place and you see comics advertised at £4 onwards, you're not gonna fucking buy it. If you see it as $2.99 or dollars, or I have to say this properly, as Americans would. $2.99.
Yes.
You will buy it. But if you see the same thing, for like $4.99, you're going to say, "Oh, fuck off! I'm not buying that."
Well, not me, because when
they
made that Spider-Man book $10, how many did right, Scott?
Monsieur Spider-Man.
So if a kid goes to the store, has a budget. Now, a lot of the comics from Marvel, they're like $4.99, $3.99.
I remember when they were 75, upwards to about $1 something.
There was 75 cents in 1987. I remember too. Now, when they go to the store and they see, oh my God, the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxies, everybody's in the storyline, they're going to get that book. And then they're probably not going to get their book.
Yeah.
And then the book starts failing. And then when the storyline's over, then they get the book again. But the book gets canceled because They think that everybody is an adult. Everybody makes $50,000, $100,000 a year that they could afford to spend hundreds on comics. That's not the case. There's children that would rather buy a video game and put their money towards a $65, $66 Call of Duty or whatever, something, than a comic book that they're going to spend ridiculous amounts of money. So they buy either they buy the digital copy, which is super cheaper, or they don't buy it at all.
I go to newsagents in Melton Maybury, home of painting their town red, home of cheese,
right.
And around the corner, and I see all these wonderful, delicious, comics, including Doctor Who, all the different incarnations, including Thor, the Avengers, Spider-Man, you name it. Not Miss Marvel, unfortunately, but never mind. But and then I see, and it's all going swimmingly well. I'm getting pumped. I'm getting excited. I'm being returned back to being a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see the fucking price.
Yeah, it really turns out.
Yeah, basically.
Basically, I'm in a position where I collect the book, and I want to get the book, but then they do a surprise. It's $10. Remember, Scott?
Yeah.
And they do that twice a year.
When we were growing up, when they did a $10 one, it was pretty much one of these trade paperbacks.
But not only did they do the Spider-Man Amazing Spider-Man 800 is $10, but there's like tons of covers. Remember, Scott?
Yes. Oh, good Lord.
Which means that if you want every single cover, it will cost you $1,000 or more, because you would have to spend. There is the specialty covers that are like hundreds of dollars that you can't get, and you got to spend $500 for one book, which is ridiculous. And so now it's a situation where by doing all this stuff, they're destroying the market. They don't see it. Yeah. They're destroying the comics.
Going back to when it was in the 90s when they started flooding the market, and they try to make it seem as though the comics are the new stock, when what they're doing is they're actually lowering the cost of and value of the comic, because when it's actually just one comic, the amount will go up. But when you've got like 20 or so, just because they're variant, you got 20 of one comic, it devalues it. So it's not as.
And not for nothing, but if I'm going to spend
less is more, Scott.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, people. I don't think newbies or hardcore people would mind buying different variants.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you got tons and tons of. It's like having sodding arteries. You got tons of comics with different arteries.
Yeah.
I mean, God's sake, you only need one Superman, really. If it's a short-term one shot. Speaking of shot, it sounds like Joe has just been shot himself in the background. But see, there we go. Oh my God, what's it called?
Soda?
No,
it's Coca-Cola. No.
Oh, have one or two drinks, mate.
So what they're not realizing is that what they'll do, like they did now, right? They'll put the Fantastic Four on books that are not the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So something that has nothing to do with Fantastic Four, like the Punisher, shooting people with guns.
Yeah.
They'll do a Fantastic Four cover. And my answer to this is, what the F are you doing? Like,
there's no sense.
A kid who wants to read about the Fantastic Four, you're tricking him into buying a Punisher where he's killing people. It's clickbait for comics.
Yeah.
And all the books that are suffering, they put a Fantastic Four cover. Oh, they bought it. Look, and this is the trick. What they do is they know some of these books are failing. So they trick the market into buying it, thinking that it's doing number one because of the story. But it's not. So that way they have a say, oh, we can't cancel it. Look, the sales are up this month. And every couple of months they pull this bullshit because they want this. They don't want to cancel anything. But the book sucks. Now, what Marvel doesn't understand is, my power's dying. Hold on a second. Marvel doesn't understand is that you're asking these people to spend either $10 or $5.99 or $4.99. If you're, who is that? You, Scott? Or is that you? Okay. If you're asking them to spend all this money, make the freaking comic interesting. I don't want to spend $6 for a comic and people are going to be talking to each other to death and it's going to be all dialogue. Did Captain America find anybody? No, he talked to the guy to death. No.
Oh, good Lord.
So, like, they're not realizing they're doing the same shit that they always did, but now it's more money. So, I bought The Amazing Spider-Man. It was $5.99. I was like, this better be something. What?
I'm going to ask a question for both you and Scott. First, Scott, why do you, Scott, as a grown adult, now past, present, and future, buy comics from your heart and soul?
Well, I don't buy them anymore. I don't really buy them anymore, but if I'm going to buy it, it's going to be because I either enjoy the story or because the cover art looks interesting.
Wow.
Because,
so the artistics of the thing.
The artistics of the thing. Because I know back back in the 90s, as you saw, I was getting all but one of the X-Men titles. Then when I was living in Oklahoma for the first time, I was buying I was buying ROM. This is like going way back, I know. I was buying ROM, New Teen Titans, G.I. Joe, and when Marvel was reprinting old Doctor Who monthly comics.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. Doctor Who Weekly, Doctor Who Monthly, Doctor Who Magazine.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree what's happening with Doctor Who comics.
But why did you buy comics?
I get it because...
Here's a better question. What's the thing that hooked you from the very beginning when it comes to comics? What's the thing that dug into your very soul and being from the beginning and made you want to become a comic fan?
When I was a kid,
the ink, but the real heart and soul.
When I was a kid, back in the day, when I was a child, before I was a writer, before I was anything, the artwork would lure me in. Seeing Spider-Man fight Electro on the cover, seeing Spider-Man fighting the Vulture. It was the variety of villains that he had. It was just the flashy colors and everything. Yes, the story was great and important, but as a child, you don't know if the book is great or not story-wise because you're not educated. So you look at the pow, bam, Spider-Man swinging, whatever, and then you learn. And then as you evolve as a human being, and you go to school, and then you graduate, now you're more critical of the comic book because you're looking at it through adult eyes rather than children eyes. So now, to collect comics as an 18-year-old, now you look for, well, you're still collecting it because maybe you're a fan, whatever, right? You're looking at the artwork and you're looking at the store. But when you're 18, you're just spending money. From a point of view of me now, I'm 44 years old, as a writer, I'm more critical of the writing because I'm a writer. So I look at, so in order for me to pick up, like, say, a comic, right? Because of the price, I'm not just going to buy the comic for the hype. I'm not going to buy the comic for even, it has to have a great writer. Has to have a great writer, but I still won't get it. You could have the greatest writer on the book. If you have the shittiest artist, I'm not going to buy the book to look at shitty art while I'm looking at the writing. Okay?
Oh,
that's like
some from the 90s.
So, in other words, you have to have good art and a good writer, and I don't think that's wrong because you're asking someone to spend.
To complement the other, and when one doesn't, it really bums
You're asking someone to spend $6 or $10 for one comic. One, right?
It's like fine art.
So that has to have the best art and the best writer on there. If it has one and not the other, I won't get it.
Yeah.
Now, I looked at Thor #1, and while I was intrigued because he's got a new hammer and different things, I didn't buy it.
Just the artwork alone. Just
because the moment I opened it up, I got turned off. Now, I'm not saying anything against the artist.
Yeah.
Maybe people like that style. I do not. I want to have something that I know visually that this is Thor, this is this. I don't want choppy artwork. If you're asking me to spend $6 or $5 for a book, the artwork has to be to my liking. So I did not pick up Thor number one. I wanted to. I wanted to.
I know this is getting off the point for a bit, but that's why I like Tom Baker's version of Shada over the flash art thing they did with Paul McGann and Lalla Ward, because that version just, even though yes, the storyline, it increased it and made you understand, it's just the way they did the whole flash comic or flash artwork just turned me off.
Oh, okay. Marketing wise, yeah. So comic wise too, I could be getting the Spider-Man book if I don't like the art. I mean, maybe I'll still get amazing, but I actually love the art and I love the story. But I used to collect every single book of Marvel, period. It didn't matter what the hell it was. Every month I got every single book at one point. As they started putting out multiple covers and hologram covers, making everybody broke, that's when they made me stop collecting a lot of books, because then it was all about the flash and it wasn't about the story. There was times where they had the greatest artists on the book, and the book sucked writing-wise.
Once upon a time, ladies and gentlemen, there was a time when childhood dreams would be on the page and on the screen of television and movies. Now it's just bureaucrats and people with suits thinking they know what the fans and what the dreamers want, but they don't dream. They just look at the projected profit.
There was a time where the biggest thing in the 90s
want to be reconnected to your childhood, Joe. You want to be made to feel like you're still the same age when you first discovered Spider-Man, or when Scott first discovered that strange alien being with a long scarf and strange curly teeth from that place where they drink a lot of tea. And
I still remember the day. I still expect to watch the goodies and Tom Baker's robot comes on.
Back in the 90s.
Can't do much, but I'm damn good when it comes to saying things.
We're back in the 90s, it was all about, they had these incredible artists.
Yes.
That you just like looking at the covers. The problem was that the writing half the time wasn't that great. So you had the greatest art known to man, but the story sucked. You know what I'm saying? And then after a while, the consumer, the people who bought the books were like, well, that's nice, but where's the story? The story sucks. I'm not going to pay, so I'm paying for the art. That's what you're basically saying. Yeah. So then people stop collecting it.
It's like Alien 3. You know, the original idea for that film was an entire space station made out of wood and monks. So the whole point is you can have the best script, you can have the best concept, but if it's not good enough, it's not written properly in any medium, in any sense, it doesn't make any difference how good the actors are.
And if you lose the budget, then it sucks.
Projectile.
Yeah.
So, being that in this day and age,
paying for your dreams to be recreated, but they're not being recreated, Joe. They're being sort of pissed away. They're being regurgitated in a less superior form.
They're just trying to get stuff out for the masses instead of pausing to think, okay,
it's the same as England.
Does the story relate to what we need to do, or we're just pushing it out like Joe says?
Right.
It's the same as England.
Sometimes, if it's not
the same as England, Joe. It's basically my country and all our childhoods, everything we love being regurgitated. It's the same. It's all the same crap, you know. Just Great Britain. What Great Britain? It's just trading on past glories. I'm not living in 20 or 10 years ago. I'm living now.
And then it's a situation where they try to get people on the book that by shocking the viewer, where it's not even the artwork anymore. It's not even the writing. It's now let's shock them to get the book. So you do shit like J. Jonah Jameson finds out that Peter Parker's Spider-Man in the spectacular Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man book. Not amazing. And then in that book, you do that Peter Parker has a sister. And you're like, well, wait a minute. What the is this? And it's like, that can't be. It's not true. It's not true. And then they say it's definitely true that when they left Peter Parker with Aunt May and Uncle Ben, they didn't realize they're on the plane. She's friggin' pregnant. So there you go. They have to live a life as spies while she's pregnant. You have to give birth to her. Then they disappear. And then S.H.I.E.L.D. is raising the kid, basically, as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
It wasn't me. Just this one.
Not me either.
Now, I don't like when they change canon. I have a massive, massive problem when they do shit like that. And I definitely am against it to do it to woo people in or to get sales. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have a sister, and that's nonsense. They already tried to do something similar to that when they tried to bring his parents back that time, and it was all plot by the Green Goblin. They were robots, if you remember. So I'm not for that at all. And it's funny how that happens in one comic, but it doesn't happen in the main comic.
Yeah.
Like, they don't show it, they don't say it, because it's like maybe the writers don't agree with each other. You know what I'm saying? So is it really canon or is it not canon? That's the question. And I don't think it's canon, but...
To be or not to be, this is the best question I could think of. Basically, we now know that, this is something you'll both love, and all the fans watching right now. And keep watching, because this is a doozy.
Go ahead.
It has been announced that finally, as many, many fucking long years, finally, Marvel MCU that claim they're for diversity and equality and feminism are now making a Black Widow movie with a female director. What's your thoughts on that? Because Don't Know About You is a little bit too late, as some people claim.
I think it's like a decade too late.
It is.
And that if you did the movie right after Iron Man 2, when she was looking like that and leaping around like that, that would have been amazing. But now you're doing it when you're
basically copying Wonder Woman. That's basically what it is.
You're doing it like 10, 15 years later when she's already, and I'm not against the age, but the thing is that how are you going to, and you're going to use technology to de-age her and to show the origin of her, like they're doing with Samuel L. Jackson in Captain Marvel. They're making him look like he's 20 years old.
Why would the age matter, though?
Because if they're going to do flashbacks when she was first training, she can't look 40 when she was 20.
Yeah.
So Iron Man.
Now, Red.
Well, she's older now. I mean, not that she's 40, but she's older.
Look what they did with Deadpool when it was a success as an R-rated movie. Everybody started roaching out the woodwork about how, we need this thing to be an R-rated. We need, just for shits and giggles.
I love Scarlett Johansson.
What if they started doing more R-rated movies, or at least ones which were towards that direction? How do you think that would impact Marvel movies? Because they always... The one thing I've noticed is that they, from what culture videos and all that sort of thing, they've been purposely, all the movies have been purposely avoiding that. That's why you don't get Robocops anymore. That's why you don't get They Live in all the other movies.
Scarlett Johansson's 34 years old. I'm sorry. She's 34 years old, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's not 40, but the thing, I'm sorry, I just had to bring that up. Okay. Yeah, continue, David. I'm sorry. Oh, RoboCop's coming back, by the way, so I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, they're doing RoboCop's Returns or something.
The sequel to the first RoboCop. They're eliminating the original RoboCop 2.
Yeah, direct movie with the original RoboCop.
Yeah, and which I hope they get, what's his name? Peter Weller, right?
Yeah.
I hope they get him. That would be nice. They got him.
Well, the thing is, they got Wonder Woman 84. That's going ahead with the character called, what's that character?
Cheetah.
Yeah, I remember many years ago when I didn't understand what it was all about, reading a Wonder Woman comic or something, and Cheetah was in that. So I'm not sure. Who is this Cheetah?
I'm a Marvel guy, so I really don't know. But we'll find out. I know Kirsten Wiig from Saturday Night Live is Cheetah.
Ah.
The girl from Ghostbusters, the female Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, geez, wait for the comedy to ensue with that stuff.
What do you think about Henry Cavill's comments on Me Too? Do you think that's going to impact his screen time?
We are not talking about. That's a Topic Wonders thing, or politics and all that nonsense. That's going to be on.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got this far, which I'm sure you have to watch Topic Wonders.
Yes. But anyway, RoboCop 2, RoboCop Returns. Neil Blomkamp is directing it. So that should be fabulous. We're also getting a sequel to Gremlins, which they want to eliminate Gremlins 2, which, again, they're doing a retro boot.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, this is what I've been noticing a lot when they do these reboots. I guess you call it soft reboot it.
They do. I call it a retro boot. And the reason why I call it a retro...
The last one was the last batch. So
I call it a retro boot.
What form? I need to know this. This is fucking important.
Okay, I call it... I dub it a...
Form? What is the form that this new Gremlin move's going to take?
Right, I dub it a retro boot because what's happening is artists, writers, directors, they go to do a sequel and they're saying, oh, I don't want to do Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So every single Halloween is erased and we're going to do a sequel to the first one, but we're going to change the ending to the first Halloween and we're going to make it a direct sequel to the first Halloween. So they do that. And then they say, oh, I want to do a Superman movie, but I don't want to do that Superman 3 and 4 counted. We're going to do it as a direct sequel to Superman 2, where Superman, we call it Superman Returns, and Superman goes to his planet, he comes back, and he deals with Lex Luthor. So what they're doing is they're picking and choosing what they like and what they don't like. But basically, it's like an alternate universe.
And what's your opinion, Scott, though, from a layman's point of view?
I couldn't hear you. What?
From your point of view, is the layman's point of view, the normal
What's your opinion of this?
Yeah. Because I love your cauldron of magic, gooey knowledge.
Okay. If it's done well, yes. Otherwise, just do a full-blown reboot from the get-go. Because it does get annoying to where you go see a movie and, oh, geez. It's like what they're doing with the why the whole Spider-Man and Fantastic Four movies can't catch on real well. One movie sucks out the ass, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, geez, let's not try to fix it in the sequel. Let's just totally... But the whole let's go back and trash everything from, like, let's say 2 or 3 on, no.
See, I would do something. See, everybody knows that Doctor Who's my favorite thing, and then everybody knows that Spider-Man's my favorite thing, and when it comes to horror, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th is my favorite, right? I would actually do a retro boot where we do a direct sequel to 8. Where he's in Manhattan, the girl thought that she saw him become a kid because she's on drugs. She got injected with drugs. So it was a hallucination. So when they go back to Crystal Lake...
Yeah, Jason takes Manhattan.
Right. So when they go back to Crystal Lake... When they go back to Crystal Lake, there's a whole nother story.
There's a bit where you see a young kid being fucked at the start, which always gets me up, innit?
Anyway, so I would do a whole movie.
In my mind, I can't complain, can I?
I would do a whole movie where it shows what New York had to deal with the greatest killer known to man in their damn sewer, and how they got him out of New York and dumped him back to Crystal Lake. So I would do a movie based on that.
I agree. And in my movie, where it focused on the greatest killer known to man, which is called Obamacare. He said, politics.
This is why. Shock.
You don't invite British people.
Well, this is the definition of shock when you get David Aston on here. You never know what you're going to get.
Yep, there you go.
How are you tying Obamacare with Friday the 13th? Hey, man, that's a perfect ending, bro. That's a perfect ending. All right, guys. We have to get out of here for now. We'll be back. Take care. Bye for now.